Today, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a form using the Form Designer. I open the Define Forms app from the SAP Fiori Launchpad and choose Create. As you can see, there are 4 tabs. I start with the General Information tab and enter the name and description for this new form. I indicate that the form will contain periodic values instead of the cumulative values for the year to date. On the Dimensions tab, I select the dimensions for the filters, rows, and columns. I include the 4 mandatory dimensions that are displayed at the top of the list. I could include more dimensions in the row and column, but for now, I include 1 dimension, FS item, in a row, and 1 dimension, sub item, in a column. Now, I move on to the Form Designer tab, which has 2 panels. On the left is the form layout, and on the right is where I define the form settings. I start by entering the filter values. These values apply to the whole form. I enter the mandatory values, but leave the document type empty. The user can select the document type when they want to run the form in the Enter Group Reporting Data app. In rows, I want to display a restricted list of FS items, so I can select from List of Values, All Values and Empty, All Values, Empty, or an FS item attribute. I decide to use the attribute Data Collection and select the value Other Non-Current Financial Assets. Because I used an attribute, the resulting list of values is updated each time the form is run. Next, I decide on the Aggregation Mode, and if I want an itemized list with 1 row for each FS item, an itemized list and the total displayed before or after the FS items, or sum. I select an itemized list with the total displayed after the FS items. In columns, I want to display a list of the transaction types, and this time I select a list of values and total after. Now I enter labels for the totals. I'm not finished yet, but I want to see what the form looks like when run, so I open the Enter Group Reporting Data app. I enter a value for the document type, since I left this empty when I created the form. I see the layout of my form, including gray cells where data entry isn't possible, FS items in rows, transaction types in columns, and I can see the titles for my totals. I return to the Form Designer to finish the form, and I add more row blocks. I copy the existing block because I want to enter more FS items, and I only change the attribute value and total labels. Finally, I move on to the Guidelines tab. Although optional, this lets me add useful information for the user when they're entering data in the form. I include some text, an image, a hyperlink, and copy in a table. I run the form again to see my latest changes, including the guidelines. And that's it. I'm done. I've created a form ready for data entry. For more information on SAP Group Reporting Data Collection, see the SAP Help Portal. Thanks for watching.